Hello, hello, hello. Pamela here. Happy Monday. Welcome to Make It Monday with Pamela. This is Pamela with Passion About Scrapbooking, and we are going to do a 12 by 12 two-page scrapbook layout today using the Seaside Wishes Bundle, which includes the stamp set, dies, and hybrid embossing folder. So I've used it the past two lives, last Wednesday and last Friday. I did an 8.5 by 11 page on Wednesday and then a card on Friday. Today I'm incorporating the Hexagon Punch that coordinates with this Heartfelt Hexagon stamp set. And I think I'm just using one image off of here, but I wanted to bring that in. So we'll have some fun creating a unique background and some clusters. Say hello if you're joining me. Would love a like and a comment. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, that would be awesome. Or followed me on Facebook. Please do so if you enjoy what I'm sharing. All right, so let me see. I think I've got everything live and going. I think I see a few people hopping on. And I am doing my first 2x2. I keep saying 2x2. It's a 12 by 12 two-page scrapbook layout of our Florida trip that we took in July. So Jeff and I got away for a few days. Flew into Orlando and then drove to Cape Canaveral and then went down the coast to Cocoa Beach and Melbourne and down all the way to Vero Beach. And then on Thursday, I think it was, we drove all the way down to West Palm Beach. So we got to see a lot of great beaches and eat at a lot of great places. Today I'm scrapbooking about Cape Canaveral. I don't know if it's Cape Canaveral Beach. I'll have to look it up. But it does say welcome to Cape Canaveral, I think, in the photo right there. So this was the first beach that we hit once we got off the plane and headed to the coast. We did go drive through Cape Canaveral. That'll have to be another scrapbook page. And then this was the beautiful ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. So I'll be scrapbooking those today. And before we get started on all of that, I'm going to move some of these items out of the way because I may do some sponging, maybe some splattering, do some distressing. But I can't show you the inside of this, but I can show you the outside of the new mini catalog that's coming live September through December 2024. So as a Stampin' Up demonstrator, I have been able to place my order for everything that's inside here so far. I think I have an order coming in today with a couple of things, and then I have another one that's coming probably next week sometime. So that's all I can share with you right now. If you want to see more of it or even purchase it, reach out to me about becoming a demonstrator. You can get $125 in product of your choice for $99. It's a really awesome deal. And you can get those pre-order items early, just like I do. All right, I was looking for, oh yes, want to make sure you're aware of our Designer Series paper sale that's going on right now, 15% off. Papers that are featured in our 24-25 annual catalog. So all of these papers, they're 6x6 and 12x12s, and that on the back as well. So lots of great stuff. This is what's coming in today, the papers that I didn't have. So I'll be sharing more of those starting Wednesday and creating different things than beach layouts. But this is what I'm using today is the Country Woods. So it's all wood texture patterns. Super fun and fabulous for beach photos. This goes along with it really well too, the country lace. But I've done quite a few projects with all of these. So if you go back to look at my videos, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, you can see what I've created so far with a bunch of that. And more is coming in the works once I get my order later today. All right, so I have some, I'm not sure what all stamp sets I'll be using, but these stamp pads are the ones that I grabbed. I have Petal Pink, Lost Lagoon, Basic Beige, Crumb Cake, Pecan Pie, and Early Espresso. So I'm going to set those aside up here for when I need them. I have a lot of things prepped already, but I know I'm going to have to do a little bit of stamping and die cutting. So I've got to do some starfish. I think I have what I need in the sand dollars from my video on Friday. And if you want to learn more about how to use this, I don't know if I'll be able to show you. I don't think I need to do anything with the embossing folder today, but if you want to see how I used it and did some of the techniques that are on these pieces, then check out my video from Friday with the card that I made. This is the card that I featured. So you can see I'll pull it out of here. So I have two of them. So you can see all the good texture and neat things. I did some dry embossing. I stamped, then dry embossed and cut at the same time. I inked up the embossing folder and then ran it through and got this look. Similar to this one, but not quite as much ink on the image. So lots of fun techniques I did, along with what I did on last Wednesday. I can share that with you real quick. Let's see here. I've got my 8.5 by 11 album here and the pages that I've done recently. So this is what I did on Wednesday of last week. So paper tearing, distressing. I did some sponging and stamping. I have a flip flap in here, but I haven't cut my page protector, so it flips up and down yet. But then this was my cluster that I did. So I had lots of fun with that. I can do lots of techniques. I have fun doing the techniques on Wednesday and Fridays for my story and sketch. And there's a free sketch for that 8.5 by 11 page too on my YouTube video. All right, so let's get this pulled out and get started. I have a pretty good idea of what I'm doing, but at least the background of the page, and then I've just kind of mentally visualized how I'm going to do the photo placement in my clusters. So these are removable glue dots that I like to use. I just put 2 on the opposite corners, and I'm using a Close to My Heart Versamat, something that I've scrapbooked with for years. Would love to see Stampin' Up come out with these. They're fabulous for scrapbooking. So let me know where you're viewing from, and if I can see comments or not. We'll see. Or tell me how the weather is, what you're scrapbooking today. Okay, I've already got this one on the page. I have lots of goodies underneath here, as you can kind of start to see. I've got a 12 by 12 piece. This was pattern paper, as you could see, part of that Country Woods collection. And I've gutted out the middle of it so that I can use that paper either as mats or on another project. So I did just a 1-inch border around. I've shown how to do that in other videos. All right, and then I cut this white piece of cardstock to 11.5 by 11 so that it will come right to the edge on either side. They'll meet right in the middle, but it'll give you a 1/2 inch border around the top, bottom, and the outside. Okay, so I think I can go ahead and put that down. Let me get my adhesive. And I only need to put adhesive right along the edges. Since this part will be exposed, you don't want any adhesive back there. So I just do little like 1 inch increments. I don't run it all the way across because it's really not necessary. It is going to stay on there, and then I'm conserving my adhesive. All right, so I'm going to line that up at 1/2 inch, like 11.5 up here, 1/2 inch down here. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and do this other side too. So we'll pick up all this goodness over here. Check it out. Let me see if I can slide that up under there to grab it. Awesome. All right, so I had got a smudge on here, so that's why I'm making this the back. Okay, so I'm just going to work on the basis of the sketch. And you got to just make sure that the 11.5 is going this way, the 11's going this way. All right, so this is going to be flush, I guess, when it's together right there. All right, so I've got some fun things. I've got my title as beach, and I'm probably going to look up the name of the beach and then print it out on my printer, whatever beach. So I'm going to set that aside for now, and I'll just show you real quick. I actually ran the cardstock, the white cardstock, through the embossing folder first, and then I cut the letters out using close to my heart thin cut, alphabet thin cut that I had. That was just the quick and easiest way I could get it done right now. We'll go through these pieces real quick as I move them out of the way. Then I have like some seaweed. I want to do some distressing on these, maybe stamp and ink on these pieces. Those will be part of my clusters. I did a couple of the coral, and this is in petal pink. I might need to do a little bit more. I left a few of the pieces in there. If they fall out, okay. If not, I kind of like the look of a few of them still filled in. So I didn't try real hard to get all of that out. And then these are the pieces that there's some more of those, the seaweed. Let me move that out of the way. That was in crumb cake, by the way, the seaweed. There may be some more of these hiding in there. So some of these sand dollars have been inked up and cut out using the embossing folder and the hybrid, the die that works with it. And then some have just been embossed and cut. There's no ink on them. So I have a kind of a variety. Then these have been stamped and cut out, but they're all in just the Lost Lagoon and basic beige. So I have a variety of those I can use on my page. Now I just have everything laying up here so I can just grab them as I want. All right, so in advance, there's another one. I punched out the hexagons. Now I didn't look to see what the exact name of this was. Let me look. But if you go to my website and you type in hexagon, it'll pull it up. It's Heartfelt Hexagon Punch, which goes right along with the Heartfelt Hexagon stamp set. Okay, so I'm wondering, I don't think, maybe at one point this was a bundle, but you can buy them separately. So, but I've already done all that. If you're not familiar with our punches, Stampin' Up's punches, I wasn't very long ago, so I hadn't bought punches in years, and now I'm really loving these. And I love the way that they lock right here. So I have this little lever, and then it opens up, so you can kind of see how it locks. Then undo that lever and it opens up. And then I just went through my paper kind of like this and went through and punched out about 5 of each pattern that I wanted. And then I ran them along, if you can see the texture on the ends, I ran them along the Early Espresso ink pad to just give some color along the edges. Let me get back to where I want to be. And before I did these right here, that is this stamp right here. I stamped it and then I punched it out. I think I got one pretty good on here where I had already punched these out and I stamped right on there, but it's super hard to line up because they're so close to the edge. Anyhow, I have a variety of these. I have a few that I cut in half because they're going to be right in the center here. I'm going to create a design right here in the center. So let me pull those out first. We'll kind of move these over here. And I'm going to go to my photos real quick on my computer. I took a photo of the pattern as I laid it down. So give me a second while I get that pulled up. So it would make it a little bit easier for me to lay it down. This I'm going to set aside. I do have a flip flap, by the way, that I'm going to probably be using. All right, so I'm going to kind of lay this out and then we'll start gluing things down. So I want this to be pretty close to the edge right there. And I'm just going to start. And really, I probably should have done this before I laid my cardstock down, because I'm going to have to trim it now instead of using my scissors, but oh well. All right, so I'm going to kind of lay, let's see here, we've got, I think I have another piece that's hiding in here somewhere. It's probably, I'm not sure. We'll come across it here in a minute. I feel like I'm missing something. There, it's this one right here. All right. So since the green's right there, I'm going to flip it around this way. This one's probably going to go about right there. Then we've got some. So I tried to mix them up. I just have 4 patterns. I might have been better off doing like 5. But this is how I'm working the patterns. I just tried to make sure that each pattern was kind of far away from each other's best I could. This one's going to have to be this one that I already cut. So it's a real dark wood grain. This is the same that I used along the border. Okay, so you can have lots of fun with this punch, creating backgrounds. Just using it in unique, different ways. I didn't want it to be super uniform, so I threw in a few, couple of pieces that were out a little bit further. And let's see, what else do I got? Put this one right here, I think. And I have 2 of these again. These ended up being like kind of uniform, like in an X. And we got, I think, down here and right here. All right, so I need to kind of position it. This one, really what I need to do is just do this one right here at the 6-inch. All right, so I've got it laid out. So let me get back to my primary screen so we can see. So say hello if you're joining me. Let me know you're here. I'd love to visit if you want. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start laying this down. And when we get down to here, I may like draw a line and trim it on my trimmer since I already laid that paper down. So if you recreate this, maybe do this before you actually adhere it to the background. All right, so they're 2 inches wide, the top to the bottom of these, just for reference. And we'll just lay these down and we can visit. Hello, Cherise. Thank you for saying hello. And I'm going to put them pretty close together. So you can pick any kind of pattern. I've seen a few cards that other demonstrators have done using this punch where they covered the whole background of a card with different patterns from one DSP collection, which is pretty cool. So probably I might use my scraps that way. All right, so this is gonna actually come like right up to there, which is fine. And I'm just trying to kind of get about the same width in between. So this kind of reminds me of like stepping stones or even pebbles, which there is a couple of stamps in the stamp set. So all that's down. A couple of stamps of pebbles. This blue is really pretty. It actually matches really well with that right there, but I didn't use a whole lot of it. All right, so right up to the white there. I think I'm just going to go ahead and lay it down, and then I can lift this up a little bit maybe. I just think that's going to be the easiest route to go, because you can see just a little bit's gonna. Okay, from this point, I gotta make sure that I line this up pretty close to how I have that. And so this is gonna be the primary focal point of the page, the layout. I can bring that out a little bit. And I stamped on these lighter ones just to give it, these Pool Party, I think is the name of this color. Just to give it some texture. It's super subtle, as you can tell. All right, so now down here. So we got the first part of it done. Comes together pretty quickly since I've prepped everything. Has anybody done anything with the Country Woods or the Seaside Wishes stamp set? I am just loving it. I wasn't thinking I was going to get the Seaside Wishes, and then we did this impromptu beach vacation. Jeff took Kyle to his grandparents in Houston first part of July, and then Bevan was at her dad's. So we found ourselves with a couple of weeks with no kids. Both of them are seniors. They start school on Wednesday. Officially start their senior year on Wednesday. So Kyle is Jeff's adoptive son. Actually, and they're actually fourth cousins. So family still, but Jeff took him in when he was about 18 months old, and Kyle is has high functioning autism and like 5 other diagnoses. He's super smart and intelligent, but somewhat difficult as far as like attitude and following instructions and being told what to do. So yeah, I think I'll do it. All right. All right, I really love that now that I've got it laid down. But maybe I'll just use my little scissors. I guess I'll do this one first. We'll just take this and, yeah, I think I can kind of pop this up just a little bit, gently. Okay. Now, if you want to, you can go back there and add some ink, but I'm not going to bother with that because it's not that noticeable. Yeah, you really want to lift it up so that you can follow that line pretty good. Okay, so just gently lift it up. If you did what I did, there we go. And then let's do the other side. And then we'll start building our page, the rest of our page. So since I have most everything prepped, it shouldn't take that long. Now I may have to, I don't know, I may just work with what I've got. So if you didn't join me on Friday, I shared that somehow I've misplaced one of the plates on my big stamp and cut and emboss machine. The cutting plate. I don't know where it's at. Haven't come across it yet. Can't find it. I'm having to use my mini, and I'm a little frustrated with my mini. Well, and it doesn't cut the bigger dies either, but if you have like a round or square edge, straight edge, it's really hard to get it to go through the cutter to roll through. I don't know why, but all right. So I cut these pieces to coordinate with that piece. That's the back of it, but I'm going to use this one. I did ink it up. I'm going to go ahead and just lay it down. I did have a thought here earlier that I may have to cut another piece or two, and I'm just going to leave like a 1/4 inch of white right there. So it comes down to about the 2 inch. This was a 1 1/4 inch by 11, I believe, if you want to write down measurements. I'm not following a particular sketch, but I don't know if I have time right now. I want to create like a diagram. All right, so there's that. So that's the basis of our page. I know that I want to put this in here. And then I'm not sure if I want this in the flip flap or down here yet, depending on my journaling, because I might have room down here for my journaling. I got some ink, I think, or not ink, adhesive. All right. So I'm going to keep those photos together. I kind of have an idea of what I want to do, but let me see which one. All right, so this picture right here is looking straight out from the beach. I wanted to use it. Since there's lots of blue there, I might overlap a little bit right there. Haven't decided yet. I may put this picture down below. And I am going to overlap these a little bit, I think, somehow. But I need a title up here, and I thought if I just used the one 4x6, I could put it way over here so you see more of it. Something kind of like that, maybe. I may need to bring it down a little bit more, because I got to get my title in here, and then I might have a spot for journaling. So I was thinking just a 4x6 and a 3x4, but then over here, I printed these pictures of Jeff. I don't know if I want to, yeah, I might just do something like that. I'm not sure. I could bring them over so I'm not completely covering that up. So I haven't quite decided how I don't want it all the way over there like that. I'll probably center it or I might even do it like this. These at the bottom. That might be better because I flipped him so that he's looking off that way. And I can do a cluster. If I do one up here, maybe one down here, and maybe one up here, that might work. So I could bring it all the way over here and do a cluster right in there. I don't know if that's too boxy or not. So I'm going to leave that as it is. We're going to work over here, and then we'll see what. Don't think I want to do a flip flap. So lots of blue sky. And I filtered it a little bit so that, yeah, it was a little bluer than maybe what it really was. Okay, so let me get out my letters here. I wanted to do white on white. Let me see how far this BEAC, if it overlaps. Do I want it to overlap onto that, or I don't think I want to go that far down with the, and I could put it down here at the bottom possibly. Doesn't have to be at the top. Could do it maybe like this. Let's see here. Don't know if it's gonna quite fit. There may be some overlapping happening a little bit. I'm going to pop that up so it gives it a little bit of a shadow. I'm going to set this aside for the moment just so I can work with this. So I might can do something kind of like that. Maybe a little bit of a something right in here, maybe over here. Trying to think cluster wise. I could push this up a little tiny bit higher. I do want to leave a little piece right here so I could put like Cape Canaveral Beach or whatever the name of the beach was. I'm going to see if I can look it up and find it. Okay, so I think that's kind of what I got going on here. I was trying to think what other ways I don't know that I could really maneuver. I could. might kind of like that. But let's see here. We got clusters here, maybe down here, or right up here. I just need a visual triangle to go like that. I could do a cluster up here. Okay. So I think I'll bring that down a little bit further. I'll do a cluster up in here, a little bit right here, I think, and then over here. Okay, so I think we're good. So say hello if you're joining me. I'm showing like quite a few watching. So I'd love for you to visit with me. Give your suggestions if you want to. If you see I'm doing something that is not working, let me know. So, and maybe you're at work and can't. Of course, you could type. So, again, say hello if you're joining me, and we'll get busy. I think I'm going to go ahead and work on putting, I'm going to use mini dots because I think those will work pretty well. Need my tweezers. And we just got to get this lined up. I'm going to just start with this side and have it. One thing that I was thinking I might want to do is add some of, I'm trying to decide if I want a piece of pattern paper, just a small piece to overlap over here to give some more texture or something. Because I don't have anything cut yet with this piece, so I think I'm going to do that, even if it's just a little strip. So I have my paper here. Let's see, I'm going to make sure my volume is down, and all right. So everybody's so quiet today. Don't want that. I'm just cleaning up my, there we go. All right, so this piece is kind of what I'm thinking. I love this piece of paper. Thought I really loved that one the most, but I'm really liking this one. Let me get some of my scraps out to see what I have. You can see where I punched those out. See if there's any that I have that I don't have to. Probably not. They're probably not long enough. Here's one. Second. Still not very long. All right, so I think I'm going to use this pattern, this paper that I have right here, and I'm just gonna do like a 1-inch strip, 2 1-inch strips, I think. I'm gonna flip it around. So before I adhere any of this down, I want to do a little bit more of something, and just like shorter. So it's not going to go the whole length, but maybe this was 11. I'm going to do these at 9, I think. So that'll be like 1 inch from the top and bottom. I'm going to cut it at 9.5 first to see. That may be what I want. Yeah. Stuff's going to be over top of it, so I'm doing it at 1 by 9.5. I'm going to do that on both sides. This one will mostly be covered up probably. And then I can kind of show you what I did real quick with the ink. So this is the early espresso ink. And I just took my cardstock and angled it a little bit toward the side that I wanted to show. Don't rub it across because you'll mess up your ink pad since it's foam. It's super soft. Okay, so there's that. So see how it'll pop off the page there. I'm going to kind of lay it over to the side, give it a second to dry, and do this other piece. So just kind of pounce it along the edge. Again, you don't want to swipe it across because you can tear up your ink pad that way. How do I know that? From experience. All right. Maybe a little bit more on this side. There we go. I'm going to set that over here to dry. All right, so that's going to help me bring this color over here because these that I stamped, this is Pool Party and this is Lost Lagoon, so it's a little bit darker. I'm going, so I don't get ink on here, I'm going to put some adhesive over here on the side where you can't see it off camera. Just better to be safe than sorry, and then I'm going to kind of do it about like that. Okay. All right, I like that. Same thing on the other side. So you can see I just used the same kind of, and I'm not measuring this exactly, but I am trying to get it straight. Okay, that'll work. That way before I lay these down. All right, so we can get that started. Put a few, it's be a little time consuming, so I'm just using my mini Stampin' Dimensionals. So glad I got these. All right, so you can see once you get it on there, it's going to give some shadow, a shadow effect, and it's just white on white. Now, these smaller ends, I'm probably going to have to cut a little piece. So I get my scissors and maybe cut one of these, cut a couple of these. I'll do these up at the top. I'm going to cut right through those hexagons. It's got lots of hexagons going on right here. And then I can put them right there. That fits perfect. And use the whole ones. Let's see, I can see, you can see one stuck, so I'm going to go ahead and try to stick it like down here. Just that one so it fits. There's that. All right. I like my tweezers. Don't know that I can fit any there. I think that'll be fine. So, again, these were photos from our Florida trip that I'm scrapping, starting our scrapbook. We were there flew in on Wednesday, left early Saturday morning. I'm going to do right there. Tommy got in early Wednesday, so this was on Wednesday, our first day there. I think that'll work. Whoops. I see a little piece sticking out right there. I'll have to trim that probably with some scissors. Starting a new row, I think. All right, and we hit Cape Canaveral. I do need, I think, one right there. Cocoa Beach. And we had to make our way down to Vero Beach, because that's where our hotel was, for Wednesday and Thursday night. All right, so now I can start putting these on. So say hello if you're joining me. All right, so how high do I want to go up? That's what I'm trying to, I think I wanted it to be further. But maybe right. I can move this way out here. It doesn't have to be so close. Maybe just like right there, so. Okay, I think that's gonna work. If I go further down, I just want to see. I don't think I can squeeze it all. So I'm going to let it overlap a little bit on both sides. I'm just going to put this down. Starting right there. All right. So we stayed in Vero Beach Wednesday night and Thursday night. And then our flight was so early the next morning, because I picked the flights that were cheapest on Saturday morning, that we had to spend Friday. We worked our way back up the coast, visited some different beaches and some different restaurants, and then drove into Orlando for a hotel room. So we'd be close to the airport when we flew out Saturday morning. So that all worked out great. We did get a rental car in Orlando. So if you need some, if you're visiting that area, need some great places to eat, let me know. I went down that, I was there back in 2019 for a John Maxwell conference. And the day before, I guess, the conference started. Sorry, I'm just trimming that little piece off right there, trying to, so it doesn't show. Anyhow, we spent one full day and we drove all the way down to Vero Beach. So I had some ideas of where I wanted to take Jeff on this trip. Okay, I think I'm getting it pretty straight. Now I had forgotten about like embossing my paper. I dry embossed it so you can see the texture in there, and those are the sand dollars. I just love this look. All right, and then the last one, beach. So I think I got it pretty straight. And then I'm going to, remember I want to put a little bit, this is going to be a flip flap. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put this down. I'm going to have a cluster or something going on up here. But here I can put whatever the name of the beach is. All right, so let me see how I want this to, I don't know if I want it all the way over there. I think I want it like in right there. And so this will tuck up under. I think that'll be good right about there. And then journaling wise, I'm thinking I will do my journaling under there. Or let's just do this. I'm going to go ahead and put this inside here. And I think what I want to do, I'm going to grab some more so that the part that I gutted from that dark espresso wood grain, I had two pieces. So you can see I used that one to cut some of the paper. I'm going to trim that off. I'm going to keep that because I'll cut that out here in a little bit. Thinking I want to do my focal, so that picture I think on here. So that would be about, let me guess. I don't want to guess. I want to see kind of what, about a 1/2 inch. Let's do it at 4 inches. Let's start with that. And I guess it'll be 5. I'm going to cut it at 5 and we'll see. And I might even do one more layer. Don't have to see the whole entire thing, so but this will give this a little bit to pop off the page. So I'm trying to think what color matte would I want on there. Already got these. Do I maybe want to do like some crumb cake? Let me see. I've got some scraps of it. If I just do, okay, I think I like that. And I'm going to use some of this, I think, maybe around the clusters as well. So I think I'll do that. So this is 3 by 4, and I want just a little bit. But maybe I'll do, I'm going to try 3.5. I probably want less than that, because I want more of that. I'll do that. All right, so this can actually just layer right down on there. So let me put this piece. I am going to do a little bit of the edge distressing. Does anyone have beach photos they need to get done? We have a beach vacation from Memorial Day of 23 that I still have to scrapbook, but I think I'll be using, I already started, I think I did the title page for that one, using an Cape Cod Close to My Heart collection. So I'll probably stick with that. There we go. Still quite a bit in there, I think. And then I can go ahead and layer this down, and then when I do my journaling, it'll just, I'll line it up underneath this. Let me get it over here so I can see. Love me some flip-flaps. Okay, and then I can just put my journaling. It'll be a 3 by 4 journaling square that'll match that. I'll have to get these lined up a little bit better. Maybe glue them together and stick it in there. That might work right there. All right, I'm gonna figure out, I'm gonna commit to laying this down. So let's see, up a little bit, at an angle a tiny bit. Right there. Hey Vicki, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for saying hello or good morning. Appreciate that. All right, now figure out what beach it is exactly. I don't think it was, it had a sign for Cape Canaveral, just welcome Cape Canaveral Wilderness. I have to look up the actual photo because I can't even read it on here. But it is, I did try to take pictures of signs if I could. Yeah, it just says Cape Canaveral welcomes you. And this particular one doesn't say what beach it is. So Pierce Avenue. So it does say right down here. So that may be what it's called. But you just walked out there to the beach. Rip tides or rip currents. There was warnings. This was for all the time, but there was during our stay yellow and red flag warnings. So we had to be careful. I didn't get but that far into, neither one of us, I don't think, got that far into the water on that first day. But all right, so I think that's gonna work. And again, my journaling can go under there. So let me figure out my photos over here, and then we'll do our clusters and we'll be done. So all right, so what did I kind of had it like, how did I have it? Oh, I want him, he's got to be down here. Maybe up high enough so you can see a little bit of that down here. I don't know, I don't really want to go in that far, so I want to bring this over. And it may not be, let me kind of see. All right, so I think I can draw the eye like that, up like that. Okay, with clusters is what I'm thinking. That's what's going to help when I build up my clusters. That's what's going to help draw your eye into like a visual triangle right here. So I can put a cluster right up here. So that's what I'm going to do. So I decided to do these bigger photos. So this one, about like this one. And something you want to keep in mind when you're doing your scrapbook pages, like I flipped this picture, so the words on his, that's the only issue is they're backwards, but I wanted him looking into the photo. You want everything kind of going in. Just is more pleasing to the eye that way. All right, so maybe just like an 1/8 of an inch in between these photos. So these photos are going to take up lots of real estate on the page. Yeah, and so you didn't even need that, but I'm just going to leave it there. So just trying to get them straight, lined up. Lots of blue. Love it. Okay, so the clusters may soften all that up a little bit. So let's just kind of throw some things down here and see what we got. I just have a couple of, let me see how many of those. I have more than I thought. That's good. Okay. I'm just gonna play around a little bit, throw some things down. I have a couple of these. I did do maybe a smaller one, maybe a bigger one. I may want to do like this, a little bit bigger. And maybe the big one down here, I'm not sure yet. I'm trying to do various sizes. I'm just looking at which one I like the best. I don't know. That one's really dark. That one's a little bit, this one I think I stamped then cut. This one I inked up the embossing folder. I'm going to put those aside. I have a couple of these that you can see have ink on them, and then the rest of these don't. So I might do one here. And then I may just ink up or sponge those a little bit. I think maybe that size and this size. I don't know if I'll use that many in the clusters. Bring in a little bit of pink in each cluster. Okay, so we've got those pieces. So it's a work in progress, and then I want to do some starfish. So I've got to stamp those and cut those out. Let me look and see color-wise what I think I want to do. So we have, you can see so we need we either need some blue or kind of like that, but I'm thinking what color blue? This is could be like misty moonlight. Let me grab it and find it. There's two that could work. Okay, these two go with that a little bit and then work well with that. I'm feeling like that's too lilac. This one might be our option. And I did grab I think I have some of that paper in my packet. So some scraps. Clean up my mess over here just a tad. Get that stuff shoved down in there. And let's see here. So this is what I'm thinking. And we have pool party too. And let me pull out, that's a little bit more of, that might work because we've got that going on. That's the crumb cake. So I have a couple of options. Let me see what I want to do. And then let me see, embellishment wise, I was going to see if I could find the embellishments, that I used. I'm going to go through my embellishments and see what colors look well with this. All right, so we've got these options. I might just do that. I kind of feel like this is going to be too much. So I think I'm going to stick with that. Yeah, I'm going to stick with these colors because we have a small and a large starfish. And then I still need to do a little bit of texture stamping on the seaweed that I did. So we'll need that stamp set, or that stamp and that stamp. I haven't done any texture with any of I don't know that I'll use these pebbles or not. All right. So I'm going to grab these, put these on here, and we're going to move this over to give me some space over here to work with. Clean up my mess. If you haven't joined me on a Monday, this one takes a little bit longer than normal, but we're getting close to wrapping it up. All right, so let's stamp some of these. I've got, I think that'll work. And then I've got another one. I'll just do that one. So if I have crumb cake, I think I'll just maybe stamp crumb cake on crumb cake. What about, and then I'm not sure that I want to use this. Let me do Pool Party. And do like tone on tone. Let's try that. Keep those handy. Let me get out my chamois so it's handy. So if you're joining me, say hello. Let me know where you're viewing from. Commenting, chit-chatting with me helps. Not only me, but the algorithm as well. All right, so let's see what this one looks like. Don't have any cushion or anything underneath, so let's see how this works. Okay, I like that. So, yep, that's going to bring in some sand and really, really like that. Okay, and so I think I'm going to do like 3, just don't know that I can fit them all in here. So let's do maybe 1 and maybe 2. All right, so we've got that. Then let's do a couple in Pool Party. I'll do them right here so that I can cut down. Need to clean those first. So we got Crumb Cake and Pool Party that we're working with. And while we're doing this stamping, I'm going to ink up those, do something with those. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to do 2 of each one. Don't know that I need to cut them all out, but let's see. Anyhow, clean those up. I think I'll use that little sand stamp. So we have pebbles, and there's a little texture stamp right here. I can go ahead and put these away. I'll have to die cut those out. I'm hoping my die cut machine will be nice to me. I think my plates are coming in today, my new plates, so I can use my bigger one, my bigger machine. All right, so I have all of these. Let me cut. So my mini machine is 3.5 inches wide, but I'm just going to cut it to about right there. It was about 2.5 inches. Go ahead and cut that piece off while I'm at it. Okay, so that's what I can run through my machine. I think that'll be good to go along with that. And let me get this will help, my silicone mat to just do some stamping and distressing on here. Could have cut these out maybe with some of the pattern paper. I just cut them out of the crumb cake. And let's just randomly stamp on there. It just gives it a little bit of texture. I'm doing 1st, 2nd, 3rd generation. We might sponge them just a tiny bit. Can you see the texture that it's giving these? I think that was the back side. Let me flip it over. All right. So no really rhyme or reason, just adding a little bit of something to those so they're not so flat looking. And then let's just go in, maybe do a little bit of color on the, really just need it on one side. The other side will probably be covered up, but this way I don't have to pick and choose. Darken it up a little bit. So distressing, lots of different ways you can do some distressing. So I did like the direct to paper on most of the paper along the edges using early espresso. So if you're just joining me, you can kind of see how that helps pop the pattern paper, even cardstock, if it's light cardstock. It pops it off the page. Okay, and these can be part of my clusters. And I may do a little bit more of that while I have it here. I am going to do, forgot these were so white. So let's just do up the edges a little bit. So just swirl. You can go all the way to the center if you want. This was basic beige, so it is pretty light. So this just kind of, they are sand dollars, so better make them look like it. Okay, let me get that other one. That one, I'm going to do this one too, even though it's was inked up a little bit with the basic beige. That way it'll coordinate with these others. Okay. All right, I'm liking it. So let's get these cut out, and then I may need to do a little bit more distressing. And then we can put our clusters together, and then we'll pretty much be done. All right, please, please, please work for me. This usually works really well as long as it's not, got some ink from something right there. Clean that up. As long as it's not like a straight edge or even a perfectly round edge. And then it also helps to flip your plates periodically, just make them go different directions. All right, there are. Okay, this one right here has a little hook on it. Can you see the, so that's how I end up lining that up. So let me get this laid down, and we're gonna have to tape them. All right, so this one, if I can barely see it. Okay, now I didn't do my trick, my tip that I suggested. You got to be careful when you lay it, this particular stamp down. Got to make sure that it forms the right way. But, okay, this one, now I got to see, I got to do this one over here first. I think it's this way. This tone on tone makes it a little bit harder to see. I think that's good. And if not, I'll just distress it a little bit more. Okay, this one needs to be picked up a little bit, moved over, I think. Because I didn't get it lined up real well. So, oops, I may be wrong. Maybe this way. That's why I'm having a problem. Okay. It's actually two little hooks there. Okay, hopefully that'll work. I think I want one of each in the clusters. Oh, yes, okay, went through pretty well. Some images go through easier than others. So I really like my my big machine. The best. So this does come in handy. All right, so we've got our 2 hooks that are about like that. I'm gonna go ahead, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do both of these and get them cut out, and I probably won't use them all. But then I think this one is kind of the longest. Let's see. I think that's pretty good right there. And using the small one, you want your plates not to be like, they need to be a little bit staggered. That seems to help. So I don't know, I might use that one on the other page. Now let's do that one I didn't get lined up like at all, so I'm gonna just chunk that one. Must have shifted on me. I'm gonna flip my plate just to see if that helps. I think it's this way. And this one's a little easier to see. And then I think see if that one, if I can get at least one of these. May do the big one down here. And then it shifted off. Guess I need some more sticky tape. There we go. Put it down like right there. Maybe that'll help. Yeah, those starfish are a little tricky. Hey Debbie, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Had a good weekend. Maybe down there, I'm not sure. We'll kind of see where I want it to go. That one did pretty good. Let's see, up in here maybe. This will be on the 2nd page, I think, so I might need one more. Don't need that anymore, I don't think. I just need to cut this last mini one. Looks to be right. So we'll see. See if it's still lined up once I get it through here. So I do like how convenient that is. It just doesn't work well with all the, so we'll do those together. Okay, I'm just gonna move this to the side for now. And let's finish our clusters up. Okay. Make sure I'm straight. I think I am for the most part. All right, so these are gonna have to tuck up under a little bit. This one I think I'm throwing over here. All right, so I think that's gonna work, and then I'll stick my seaweed in here and there once I get these tacked down. All right, so again, they're gonna have to kind of be underneath there. Yeah, maybe. Something kind of like that with some seaweed maybe coming out from behind there. I like that. And then this one. I want. I may need that heavier, bigger one down at the bottom. I'm not sure yet. Or maybe I need to come around this way a little bit more. Okay, I think I kind of like that. Overlap the title a little bit. I think I could handle that. And this, I like this one pretty well. We just need to, so that's a big one. I think I'll have those coming out from underneath. I think like that, probably. Yeah, I think it was pretty well on there. It doesn't have to be right there on all of them. Kind of change it up a little bit. We'll see. Okay, I'm getting ready to put everything down. Use my silicone mat. I'm going to clean it off because I have some ink on it. Before I mess something up, let me wipe it down. All right, I'm liking how it's coming together. I debated whether to use that dark background, but I wanted to use all the paper. So all my pages in this mini album are going to be, and it'll depend if this will be a full, just single album for this vacation, or I may just sneak it in somewhere in the middle of my 24 album. I don't necessarily, I have all my albums chronologically by year, but I don't scrapbook chronologically. That's what I love about the top loading albums with the page protectors, so I can move them around as I need to. I can scrapbook whatever year, time period I want to. And I also feel like that way I have a little bit of every year scrapbooked. So if something were to happen, then at least I've got some scrapbooked and I don't have years not scrapbooked. So that's how I personally prefer it. Okay, so let's do, kind of looking, my journaling's going to be right there. I'm trying to decide if I want to tuck that up under there, but let's start. This one's in the back, so let's start with it. I'm just using my silicone mat for cushion, protection, and if I get ink, adhesive on it, it doesn't stick to it. All right, I want that, the darkest part that I sponged to go right back there. And then I think before I put anything else down too, I'm going to grab that little texture stamp and put a little bit of texture around a few places. Right back here. Get that out of the way. I'm going to do each one a little bit. All right, this one. So especially with this kind, I can just put some ink or some adhesive back there. I'm going to tuck it so that just a little bit of that shows. So I didn't end up doing sponging directly on the page. So do I want to do, so when you lift it up, the only thing with that is then I have to, well, I could put my, I'm going to do that. Put my journaling right over top of it, cover it up. And then this one, I'm going to use some mini dimensionals so I can pop it up just a tiny bit. And give some dimension. I'm going to cut a couple more just right here, I guess. So I have some skinnier pieces to kind of go out. I should be over here working on it, not on my photo. Tisk tisk. Oops, that one I didn't get cut all the way through. So I'm going to try to put one on each leg. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Alrighty. You're going to have lots of ideas, Debbie. Once you get your bundle and your paper. I'm going to try to do like a diagram or at least paper dimensions. But, and you have a Cricut, don't you? I think you do. All right, this one wasn't lined up super well, so I'm gonna, okay, stick it right down there like that. You can see that sand, then this one. I think I'm just gonna put one right there in the center to help pop it up too. I'm not gonna worry about the legs because it's so tiny. I didn't do any sponging, I kind of talked about that, but I think that one I'll nestle right up. Actually, let me see if I can get its leg. I don't know if I can now because I got it down. There, we'll do it like that. And then I'll add a couple of embellishments. Okay, I like this. I'm gonna put everything flat except the starfish, I think. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna put it a little bit lower than the title. I'll put this one down next. Just a little glue. You can see I didn't punch out all the little pieces. I didn't get real tedious about that. This one, I think I do need to, let me see here. I'm trying to decide if I want to cover that up. Because I still got to do this piece. I think I'm going to try to put it underneath, like right there, and then I'll put that on top. So that's flat. Okay, there's that. Now let's put our, just need one in the center. Let's see what legs I want to. I think I have a few more. I'm going to put one right down here. One over there and there, I think. So let's see. Do you have like a maker or an Explorer 2? Do you know? I'm trying to remember now why I was going to ask you. Oh, I was going to say, because you could cut shapes like that probably off your Cricut, like this hexagon punch, if you wanted to do something similar. All right, so these two I'm not putting anything on because they're going to kind of lay over top of that. Okay, just like that, and then one on here. All right, I'm really getting pleased with how this is turning out. Turn it this way. Okay. Oh, I didn't do any. Oh well, we'll sneak it in here like that. That'll work. And just do one. over here. Let's kind of do right in here. That'll probably be enough. Get that out of the way. Okay. So let's put this down first. So those little pieces you can see are still falling out a little bit. But and did I want... trying to decide, do I want it... I think I'm going to do this down underneath. Get a little bit... so they're not completely lined up right there. And then this one's next. It's a bigger one. I kind of do an X. I'm positioning so it kind of curves around his hat right there. And then let me move this over so I can see the rest of... probably down here. Yeah, that's probably the best place for that. Okay, I'm going to cut a few more of these. I'm going to go this way this time. Alright, I'm so excited about this. I love how it's turning out. And the start of my vacation scrapbook, or vacation pages. That's not wanting to come up, I guess because I'm getting up under the cut. There we go. All right, so I'm really starting to love these little dimensionals. Wasn't sure about them because I'm used to using like strips and just cutting them to size, but I'm getting used to these. Ah. All right, and then I think like right there. And then where is that one? Where do we want him to go? I'm going to go ahead and put dimensional. Just one before I take that off. Feel like... I guess I'll stick him up here. All right, let's add some embellishments and we're gonna call it done. There we go. All right, let's see. I've got these. I used these. These are discontinued, however, which is not a huge deal, but let me see what else I've got. I like those. That made up my mind. Okay, these are from the Latte Love collection. Adhesive backed swirl dots. And you can see all the different colors. We got pecan pie, coral, calypso coral, maybe that, well, actually that's probably the petal pink. And then kind of the sand, French, not, very vanilla, which I think I'm going to use those. So let me start up here. They're all one size, so I'll probably just do 3 little clusters here. Again, I'm always thinking in triangles. Okay, I like that. And I'll come down here. Whoops. Go do it right on the, so it'll be kind of subtle, but it's in there. And then up here, maybe like close to the starfish. Okay, so triangle formation. Alrighty. Wrapping things up. Kind of start with one where I like the way it looks, and then I can start to figure out the other ones. That one's going to be right down in here. Kind of right in between the photos. And it can go right on your photo, that's fine. All right, there we have it. The Seaside Wishes Country Woods 12 by 12 2-page scrapbook layout. I'll finish with the title right here. Then I've got to do my journaling right down here. And I think that's it. So thanks for joining me today. I know it was a long one, but 12 by 12s do take a little bit longer, especially when I don't have everything figured out. So y'all have a great Monday. Have a great rest of your week. Don't forget the DPS Designer Series papers. We have a bunch of them that are on sale for 15% off right now. And this bundle, the Seaside Wishes Bundle, when I looked on Friday or Saturday, it was low inventory. And I'm assuming that they're going to get more in if it goes out of stock, but no guarantee about that. And what else? Anything else? I think that's it. So join me this coming Wednesday for Story and Sketch, where I'll do an 8.5 by 11 scrapbook page. I love my 8.5 by 11 scrapbook pages because I can focus on one or two photos usually, do more technique, and then I share a story, something that I wouldn't do a full 2x2 page about. It's like one particular funny story or event or just one photo that I took for some reason. So I have lots of fun with that. And it is at 10 a.m. on Wednesday. That's Central Time. If you have any questions about anything, I'll get the supply list loaded up here very shortly so that if there's anything that you wanted to purchase, you can do that. And if you earned coupons in July, you need to get those redeemed by the end of August. So there's your incentive on that as well. All right. Have any questions, let me know. You'll have a great day. Bye. Thank you, Debbie.